Now we stay with that, and as the Dr. Kizza Besigye trial was getting underway, chaos broke out in the General Court-Martial when an orderly declined to open for defense lawyer Aaron Kizza to get into the space reserved for the lawyers, the bar. This prompted the lawyer to start shouting at the orderly, asking to be admitted. However, the court, whose proceedings were now properly disrupted, ordered his immediate arrest and subsequent detention. David Ijo was on hand and now reports for us.
For over an hour, tensions had surged outside and inside the General Court-Martial as scuffles broke out between lawyers and security personnel over access to the court chambers. For their part, security personnel were going about a detailed screening routine of everyone seeking admittance as ordered by the superiors. Although the lawyers described the security screening as unreasonable, the security personnel stuck to their job. After accessing the chambers, defense lawyer Aaron Kizza proceeded to the bar area where he waited for his turn to be admitted. However, after the orderly declined to open for Kizza, the lawyer lost his cool, shouting at the top of his voice. Moments later, Aaron Kizza was roughed up and briefly sent back to the dock where he joined the main suspects, Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haji Lutale. He was later forced out of the dock and detained in an outer area before court was adjourned for half an hour. When the court proceedings commenced, the defense team reported that they had received instructions from Dr. Besigye urging them to halt hearing until Aaron Kizza was allowed to participate.
Our clients would like the matter to proceed with all the counsels they have chosen present, who include Aaron Kizza.
The team is incomplete without one of us who has his own special duties in regards to representation of the accused person.
The chairman of the court-martial, Brigadier Freeman Mugabe, addressed the courtroom's turbulence, expressing disapproval of the lawyer's rowdy conduct and noting that this was unbecoming behavior. Brigadier Mugabe specifically cited his last court appearance at the General Court-Martial, where the defense lawyer had also banged tables and created disturbances.
He expressed gross professional misconduct, and he was warned that such a conduct is contempt of court. He was taken through the laws that make it an offense for the conduct he exhibited and warned. Today, the 7th day of January 2025, when the accused entered this court, he immediately confronted the court orderly that was guiding him where to sit, but instead started assaulting the court orderly and banging the angle bars of the entrance. The chairman of the court warned him of the misconduct, but he did not take heed, but instead worsened the situation by making more noise, being cheered by the audience.
After a brief adjournment, the General Court-Martial sentenced Aaron Kizza to 9 months imprisonment in Chitalia prison for contempt of court.
This court finds the accused's conduct in contempt of this court and finds Kizza Aaron guilty of the offense of contempt of court, and is hereby sentenced to 9 months in prison to be served in Chitalia government prison.
The entire defense team, who had now taken on Aaron Kizza's case, were left in shock at the ruling, citing a lack of a fair hearing in the General Court-Martial.
Even if it was a sham trial, at least there should have been a semblance of a trial. But it's unprecedented in the history of this country, in our jurisprudence, that a person can just be sentenced without a formal charge. There is no charge sheet, without even some scintilla of evidence being adduced, at least to be granted a right to be heard, and also to be asked to take a plea and to explain yourself, in total violation of a non-derogable right enshrined in Article 28 and 44 of our Constitution, the right to a fair trial, a right to a fair hearing.
The 9-month sentence is the second harshest penalty for anyone convicted of contempt of court after the 18 months handed to lawyer Malema Bilizi for insulting the Supreme Court in 2021. David Ijo, NTV Tonight.
So I don't know if you guys saw, but jana tulionyesha kwa news, Martha Karua na represent your opposition leader mwenye aliabductiwa Kenya wa Uganda. So lawyer mwenye alikuwa na work na Martha Karua alifungwa for 9 months. Like at us have for 9 months in prison. Jia kitu alifanya kotini like alienda akabang meza akabang sijui nini akafungwa. And I was like, kwa nini koti za Kenya haziwezi fanya kitu kama hiyo? Huyu IG Kanja amekuwa summoned by the court several times na haendi. Mbona asifungwe until I saw this? Angalia jirani mwambie watajua hawajui. Angalia jirani mwambie at Justice Mwamuye says he'll find police IG Kanja and in contempt for Kanyanga shingo bado wanapumua.
A council session reportedly chaired by Justice Irene Muliagonja, Kenyan lawyer and former Minister of Justice Martha Karua was officially granted accreditation to represent Dr. Besigye in court. At around 10 a.m., key members of the council, including Chairperson Justice Irene Muliagonja, Uganda Law Society President Isaac Semakade, and the Judiciary spokesperson Justice Edeme Mawanda were seen arriving for the session. However, reporters were denied access to the proceedings. After nearly 2 hours of deliberations, Isaac Semakade addressed the press, hailing the decision as a significant victory. He described Karua's accreditation as a crucial step forward and emphasized the importance of Uganda in upholding international legal standards.
I think now, after global banging of the table, the government of Uganda has understood that these decisions have consequences, real lifetime livelihood consequences. Respect international standards. The legal profession is not a Ugandan creation. Your local law is irrelevant.
Semakade revealed that the council unanimously decided without objections to grant Martha Karua a temporary practicing certificate. He cautioned the Uganda Law Council against making decisions without consulting the Uganda Law Society, emphasizing its role as a key stakeholder in such matters.
The old decision was shocking and completely unacceptable. And we thank the members of the Law Council for having a change of mind. It is nice not to have decisions that are unchangeable in administration. You create conflict that is totally avoidable.
Semakade expressed concern over the bureaucratic delays and urged the council to expedite the issuance of Karua's official documents to ensure she can commence representing Besigye as early as tomorrow.
There was some pushback on that. They still want to move at a snail tortoise pace, like bureaucrats. But I have told them, government of Uganda has signed the e-government laws, e-government standards. And I've made the case that issue that letter today, now, and take it to the registrar and inform Martha before end of day, because she must be in court tomorrow.
The Judiciary spokesperson, Justice Edeme, and the Law Council chairperson, Justice Irene Muliagonja, denied to comment on the proceedings.
I wanted to know the outcome of the meeting.
Martha Karua had initially been denied accreditation, prompting her to reapply on December 23, 2024. Tomorrow, Tuesday, Dr. Kiza Besigye and his co-accused Haj Obed Lutare are expected to appear before the military court on charges of illegal possession of firearms.
You would imagine that the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, being a staunch advocate of the Jumuiya, and now it is Uganda treating in an unexpected manner a jurist from Kenya and a senior counsel at that. We would expect that the Law Council would use their discretion judiciously in determining whether to grant a license.
By 9:30 a.m., former Kenya Justice Minister Martha Karua, Lord Mayor Yasser Kwago and a few of their colleagues had arrived at the High Court in Kampala. Speaking to the press, they said they were here to seek audience of the man at the helm of the judiciary, the Chief Justice Alfonso Winyidolo.
These are public offices. I'm talking now as a citizen of the Jumuiya. Yeah? I'm within the Jumuiya. We are coming to see the Chief Justice to discuss issues of justice, and we would rather we discuss them in his chambers and then we brief you later.
Being legal practitioners themselves, Karua and Tim thought the story would be different from that at the military court, albeit they celebrated too soon.
Let's go with the media. Let's go with the media. We are officers of court. Hello.
With the press denied access, the team made its way to his office as the fourth estate waited to receive the outcomes of the meeting. After hours of waiting, retired Colonel Kizza Besigye's legal team returned, but with not much good news.
We came to remind the Chief Justice that the delay in the judgment is a violation of the order by the Supreme Court, and we were therefore invoking his administrative jurisdiction to cause this judgment to be delivered, because the stay of those orders is what is giving the military license to force Dr. Besigye, Mr. Lutale, and many other civilians we saw in that court yesterday to be tried by the General Court Martial.
Lukwago questions the spirit of the Supreme Court order in which the Chief Justice was party to.
I'll begin by expressing my dismay to the humiliating body search that I was subjected to twice, and all members of the legal profession were subjected to. First at the gate, then as we entered the courtroom, another body search. And I'm asking the officers, between the gate and here, and most people have left their briefcases at the gate. What would make them subject us to a second body search? Secondly, I have not yet had audience, the right of audience in court, because I'm not yet licensed to practice in Uganda. I'm expecting a special license to be issued by the Law Council. As it has been indicated, I applied last week. I was informed that they do not process digital applications. So my physical application was brought on Wednesday, and it was taken by the law firm of Lukwago and Company. And it has not yet been processed, but I have been promised by the chair of the Law Council, Justice Mulyangoja, that we may hear from them as early as tomorrow. The abduction of Mr. Besigye and Mr. Lutale from Kenya breaches the Constitution of Kenya, the Constitution of Uganda, and the East African Treaty. I have looked at the charge sheet. The offenses are alleged to have been committed in Kenya, Greece, and Switzerland. Unless if Uganda has annexed Kenya, and we do not know, Ugandan authorities have no jurisdiction whatsoever on anything committed on Kenyan soil. That is, if at all any offense was committed. So we will be raising many objections. I am coordinating Pan-African lawyers from Nigeria, from Kenya, from Ghana, from various jurisdictions, including Tanzania, who will also be applying to practice. As Pan-African lawyers and politicians, we are taking this matter very seriously. We are going to stand in solidarity, and we will file other cases in the East African Community Court, EACJ, against Kenya and Uganda for their illegal conduct. We will be exploring all legal options, and I'm very hopeful that tomorrow I'll be granted a license to practice in Uganda, and that the Law Council will be ready to process other multiple applications.
So if you have not read those specific provisions, you shouldn't come here to mislead the court.
You should come when you are prepared.
I am prepared. That's why I'm reading the Constitution and you are reading the rhetoric.
We don't want to be restricted in law. All of us studied the 5 years you took in school. We also took them. So when he's putting on that uniform, you should know that he spent the same years you spent.
These days I've been seeing my brother, General Dafire, lamenting, saying, how can you bequeath the leadership of Uganda to your son? This is unfair. Me, I am not going to bequeath my constituency to my son. Why are you doing this? I'm glad that at least he's talking, because there are many inside there who are just watching and completely silenced. They can no longer talk. At least he's now still talking. But it was the same people that we told this thing is going astray. Let's fight now. Let's not wait until it grows wings and horns and other things. Let's fight now. Said, there is time limit. Time limits. When you are seeing all these horns going for you, you are talking about time limits. The earlier we confront these things, the better. Now it's already a huge monster. And the fella is there at the bottom saying, ew, this is unfair. Really?
The current president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, came yesterday, and I really don't want him to lose his vote for Baba. I really want him to vote for Baba. I respect him as my grandfather. I genuinely respect him. When he came to power, actually the number of years he has served in power are more than my years. And therefore, there is a time and a season for everything. I respect him and I recognize him as a revolutionary. But there are those revolutionaries who ended up very badly. Look at Mobutu Sese Seko. Came in as a revolutionary, but got drunk with power. Look at Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe. And therefore, as a grandchild to my grandfather, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
And let us tell Moi one final thing. We are not children. It is not for him to tell us who the next president of Kenya is. We can make our own decision. Moi, can you hear me? We are unblockable, we are unstoppable.
Kizza Besigye, being appointed the Minister of Uganda, swear that I will at all times well and truly serve the Republic of Uganda in the office of a minister, and that I will support and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as by law established, and that I will, at the best of my judgment, at all times, when thereto required, will give my counsel and advice to the President of Uganda and his successors in office as by law established for the good management of the public affairs of the Republic of Uganda, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal any matters as shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my duties and committed to my secrecy. So help me Lord.
Wacheni tu mimi niseme na mapema. Ndio kama kuna list na andiko mniweke kwa list. I can't wait to reject Finance Bill 2025. I can't wait because I know it will be something absurd. It will be something mental. I can't wait. Mniweke kwa list jameni. List ya reject.
Majenzi mko? Kazi mnafanya kwa mtandao ni mzuri sana. Na tunapongeza nyinyi. Na muendelee. Mtaendelea. Lakini mtandao peke yake haitoshi. Tunataka mjiandikishe kama wapiga kura. Wale watu ambaye watakomboa Kenya hii, wenye kuamua Kenya itaongozwa namna gani, ni hao majenzi wetu mwaka wa 2027. Lakini hamwezi amua Kenya itakaa namna gani kwa simu peke yake. Lazima mchukue vitambulisho, lazima mjiandikishe kama wapiga kura, siku hiyo ikifika, muamuke saa 9, muungane na sisi na wengine, tuende pale kwa debe, tutafute uongozi wa maana ambaye utaheshimu wa Kenya, utaheshimu demokrasia na utakubali kufanyia kila mtu maendeleo. Tumekubaliana majenzi?
Now, why do you want Ruto gone?
We want Ruto gone because he is killing innocent people. He's wanting to pass the Finance Bill 2024. He's putting tax on sanitary products that girls can't even buy. He can't go to school. He's corrupt. He's taking the money. He needs to go.
Yes.
Out. If you're going to raise anything, start with your hairline.
Nice.
Control, Alt, Delete, Ruto. The drunk did better than you. The drunkard did better than you.
Nice.
Mungu nguvu yetu, itoe Ruto Kenya, hata kama angalau na jali. Sisi Kenya tumechoka na Ruto, maisha imetuharibikia, analipisha mpaka sodo ya wamama. Pure kabisa Ruto. We don't like you, go home. Sasa tafuta kiongozi ambaye anapenda mwananchi na anapenda kijana kama.
They want to be described as honorable even when they are horrible. They acquire things which they have not worked for. They promise us things that they know they will never deliver. And there is no shortage of such men and women in the African continent.
Now the next election, yes. Unajua hawa ndio watakuwa nasema fagia wote ama mtasema namna gani? This generation, yes, they use their might because they didn't vote. The largest vote in the last election.
You like me, why them a fight me? You like me, chewing a bomb, and a bite it. You like me, chewing a bite it. Don't like power and shit. When you trust them, even if we post them. When you trust them, you find not trust them. When you trust them, what they might not sub them. In farm, I say you must